Wow, I'm drawing a blank. um, wow. Okay. This just shows how long of a semester this was. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tarika Monique. And as you know, this is probably a video that's been waited on for like a long time. And that is an update on my second semester as a first year student in the PTA program. So, as all of you know, we've experienced the coronavirus at the beginning of January, February, one of those. So, yeah, I can say that this semester was a very interesting one. Took 4 classes this semester. One of them was called psychosocial. It was a very good class with a very good teacher. Oh my gosh, she was like the best. It's such a sweetheart. But psychosocial, you pretty much learned about like different different types of patients you experience in the clinic, from like those with mental disabilities, physical disabilities, those who may have like eating disorders or drug substance abuse, things of that sort. It was pretty much kind of like one of those psychological classes, hence why it's called psychosocial. But yeah, it really, like, I would honestly say that that class had honestly opened my eyes to like a lot of things as far as like what people deal with, how they deal with things, and like how I as a PTA, when dealing with these types of people in a clinic, can like help them or like help de-escalate a situation if it was to arise. I would say that it is also a very triggering class. Like, it was a lot of triggers that my classmates and I each individually, you know, experienced depending on what was going on in class that day. But that was it. Like, psychosocial, there was no lab attached to it or anything. It was just sit down, lecture. We played a few games here and there, watched a couple videos. It was like one of those types of classes, but overall it was still a very good class. There was modalities. For those that are like, what the heck is a modality? Modalities is pretty much like a machine, different types of machines that you could use on patients depending on like their condition or diagnosis. So like a TENS unit, which is like a machine that you would put electrodes on depending on like what muscle you're trying to work on. So like, say for instance, I'm having muscle cramps or muscle soreness in my quad, aka my thigh, and I want to help my patient to, like, you know, help reduce pain and stuff. I would just put the electrodes on the leg, on the thigh, and pretty much just set the unit so then that way they have a buzzing but and yet tingling sensation to the point where it's comfortable, because you never want a patient to have any type of discomfort whatsoever. So something like that. And honestly, guys, just being plugged up to each of these different machines is quite an experience, I will say that. I would say out of all, like, we did everything. So like I said, we did TENS units. So pretty much anything E-STEM. So E-STEM from like TENS unit, NEMS, biofeedback, what else? Oh, iontophoresis, IFC, and pre-mod. I know I'm saying the abbreviation, so maybe as I'm going along and editing, I would put like what each one, like the full explanation on screen somewhere as I'm reading them off, but you get the point. I would say out of the E-STEM category, I did not like NEMS, because that's strictly like muscle contraction. Like, when you hook a patient up to that, you really want them to, like, you want to see a muscle contraction wherever you put the electrodes at. Yeah, that's not fun. Like, it's an experience. It's cool and interesting, but it's not, ooh, like, being hooked up to it is not fun at all. Like, it's not, because like your muscle, like, here's how it is. Your muscle is contracting every so often, and when the muscle contracts, you have to have the patient work with it. So like, if I had NEMS hooked up to my thigh as soon as my quad starts to contract, I would have to like work with it. So I would like pretty much do almost like a quad set and like push into my legs, so then that way it could work with the muscle contraction. So then that way it kind of helped take like the weird feeling slash pain that you would get when the muscle contracts. But yeah, honestly, you have to experience for yourself in order to get it. But like I said, that's not my favorite modality in the E-stem category. But besides just all the E-stem stuff I listed, we also did like ultrasound. We did hydrotherapy, so like contrast bath. We didn't do whirlpool. We also did cryotherapy, which is cold therapy. So you know, like a cold pack. So you know, you have the different types of cold packs. You have one for your cervical area or your neck area. You have like regular ice pack, or you have a cryo cuff, which is pretty much like an ice pack that you can wrap around your shoulder, or I think it's one for like your thigh area too. But pretty much it's like this contraption where it's like a one of those little, like, it's like a cooler looking, it's like a cylinder cooler attached to this cuff. And so what it does is like you fill it up with water and ice, and then put the cuff wherever the patient is experiencing pain. You rise the cooler like above shoulder level, so that way the water can run through the pipe and fill up the cryo cuff. And then from there, the patient will feel like a cooling sensation. Then you just close up the cooler, set it down, have the patient sit there for like maybe 10-15 minutes, drain the water out, stuff like that. We also did thermotherapy, which is like your heat therapy, so hot pack, fluido therapy, which is like this neat little cool machine contraption that's filled with like it's almost like cornstarch or cornmeal kind. It's like that type of material, and you just put your hand, pretty much like your hand in it. And that's for like people who have like arthritis in their hands and stuff like that. And it just it transfers heat while at the same time massaging the arm or whatever extremity you're using. And you could use that for like a lot of things. Like you could have them like while the patient has their hand there, you could have them like search for stuff, so that way they could like exercise their hand. You as a therapist, there's like an opening area, so that way while the patient's hand is in there, you as the therapist could like put your hand in there as well, and like, you know, do some distractions or massage the hand. It's pretty cool. What else? You can use paraffin wax. We didn't really use paraffin wax, but it was mentioned. So you could also use paraffin wax if like your clinic that you may be working with has one. We also did traction. So we did like cervical traction and lumbar traction, where you're just hooked up to a table, and depending on like the issue your patient's having, whether it's like acute pain, or like they have like a disc problem, pretty much just help stretch them out slowly. But there are certain parameters you have to set for that. So yeah, that's pretty much like the gist of modalities. And just to give you like a little background on some of the stuff we use. Patho, aka pathology. So around that time when we had pathology, because pathology is like an 8-week class, and so was psychosocial. So like we had psychosocial first, and then we transitioned to pathology. So around that time, that's when we had to switch to online only classes because of the whole coronavirus and social distancing policies that was going on at the time. So that was strictly online. But then from what I found out anyway, that class would have been strictly online anyway if the coronavirus didn't hit. So that was a very interesting class. I'm not gonna lie, that is a class that I would have to go through and review like all the PowerPoints again. So it's a good thing I saved my PowerPoints for each semester, so I can just go back and review and refresh myself on certain things. But yeah, cause it's a lot of material in patho. Like you learn about like the different pathologies that patients can have. I can't like that is too much material. I can't even think about it because of how this semester went. Like this semester was just crazy, y'all. But I'll get more into detail about that later. And in the final class, the one that I really dreaded the most was therapeutic exercise. So if you go back to my first video when I go into like an overview of how my first semester went, I took the intro to therapeutic exercise class. So the intro to therapeutic into TheraX is what we call it TheraX for short, so I don't have to keep saying therapeutic exercise. But that was like the introduction to TheraX. For some odd reason, TheraX, I'm not gonna lie, TheraX, now that I'm looking back on it and like reflecting this whole entire semester, TheraX is a pretty simple class, but it's like, this is like the class that like you gotta know your stuff, because by knowing it, like by understanding like the mechanics and like the different treatment options and stuff that you have in this class will help you as far as like what you're going to be doing in clinicals when it comes to you actually working with patients and like coming up with exercise for them to do during their sessions, like, or like come up with home exercise programs for your patients to take home. But man, out of the 4 classes, that was the only class that I truly struggled with. Like, when I say struggle, I mean like I struggled to the point where like I honestly thought I was not going to be able to pass the semester, which meant I would not continue on with this program. Because, oh, side note, as of today, I am officially a second year, passed all my classes. But anyways, but yeah, like it was, yeah, I was so close to thinking I wasn't even gonna make it this far. I would say, like, put it like this: I got a C. Like, out of all my 4 classes, this is the only class I got a C in the semester, and I am honestly okay with that. For the simple fact that, like, you will experience some class, like, I don't know, like, some of you may get it, some of you may not. But, you know, just whenever you have the experience of, like, taking a class and you're like, you know what, if I could just pass with a C, I would be okay. That's how this class was. Like, I don't even care if I pass with a C. As long as I pass, that's all that matters. So I passed with a C. But the thing is with this class was, it encompassed everything I learned first semester, from functional anatomy to introduction to TheraX. But for some odd reason, this was like one of those classes where, like, at first I couldn't understand the concepts for the life of me. Like, I would sit there and listen, I would sit there and go home and study, I would sit there and apply the stuff, but for some odd reason, it just wasn't sticking. It just wasn't. I can't explain it. But then after this whole coronavirus thing and we all had to be online, and honestly, my classmates and I found out that we cannot do our classes online, which sucks, because since the coronavirus messed everything up for us, fall semester, all of our lectures are going to be pre-recorded online, which is great. However, at least we could still do our hands-on stuff, because at first we couldn't even do our hands-on lab stuff, so we just made up 4 weeks of our labs these past 4 weeks. But that along the lines of what I was trying to say, like, at first I couldn't understand, but then for some odd reason we was able to go back on campus and like do these last 4 weeks of catching up with our modalities and TheraX labs. All of a sudden for TheraX, all the concepts that we learned, for some odd reason now all of a sudden had it, like, it clicked. And honestly, now that I think back at it, I'm mad, but at the same time I can't be mad, for the simple fact that, like, everybody learns different, and I don't know what was going on in my brain this semester, but it was doing something to where, like, it didn't want to, like, not accept, but like understand what was going on. And then towards the end, it was like, okay, I finally get it. So I'm like, I'm mad, but I'm not mad. I mean, I'm mad for the simple fact that I didn't learn it sooner, but then at the same time, I'm happy because now I actually understand and the concepts and everything going along with it. So, yeah. But I will honestly say that this semester, like I said, was a trying one. Especially for the simple fact that it almost like pushed back our classes graduation. Again, because the whole online classes thing, like, I took online classes before, but it was never like for major classes. It was for, like, you know, prereqs or like, you know, extracurriculars or electives. There you go. So with that, you know, it's easy. With major classes, that's not the case. And especially with this program, you can't cheat. Oh, they made sure you didn't cheat. Every time you took a quiz or an exam, oh yeah, you was on Zoom too, buddy. So that way the teacher can watch you and make sure, like, you know, was nothing on your screen or even you looked suspicious to even try to cheat. Because our program don't play. Cheating is not tolerable. They do not tolerate cheating. If you're even caught cheating, that's it. So, yeah, they ain't play. But at the same time, it was just hard because it's like, I don't know, it's like something about just sitting in the actual classroom during lectures and learning stuff. It's like I absorb more information, especially when like the teachers would like give you like little hints or tricks or like certain little anecdotes for you to help you remember stuff. Cause in that way, when I'm taking, I don't know about the rest of my classmates, but I know me and one of my other classmates, we kind of share similar experiences where like if we sit in a classroom and listen to the lecture and stuff, when it comes to taking a test and we like are taking our like written tests and are reading the questions, we'll like sit there and like for some reason like photographic memory or something, we'll sit there and be like, oh yeah, I remember she mentioned this in class, or she said something about this in class, and then be like, oh okay, that makes sense. But online it's a lot harder. It is. And then like, granted, you can email your teachers and stuff like how you would normally, but even then, like, it's better to like be able to be in class to like ask your teachers questions in person rather than email, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was it though. But I will say this, and I don't know if they ever gonna watch this, but shout out to two of my classmates, Ashley and Gian, because without them, I don't think I would have made it this semester. Like, when I tell y'all, and this is another video I have made, I don't know if I made it yet, but if not, it's gonna get made. But a tip for whether you're going to PT school or PTA school, your class is like your family. You might not get along with all of them, but then again, it's like family. You love your family, but I mean you gotta like all of them. So treat your cohort, your classmates as family, because y'all really are in this together. And y'all go pretty much, you're going through everything together. So honestly, for me, if it wasn't for those two, I wouldn't be here. Like, they were my rock. Like, if I was struggling, I can easily go to them, and they was like there to help me. Like, we studied together on Zoom. We would sit there and like text each other any questions. Like, man, yes, it's great, man. So if you guys are watching this, thank you guys so much. I love and appreciate you both. But yeah, man, other than that, there's not much to talk about this semester. And I felt like I was rambling all over the place, but that's just how the semester was. The semester was chaos. Like, it's so chaotic that starting next Monday, we start our 5-week clinicals. And honestly, they didn't even know if we was going to get placed in clinicals, because with the coronavirus, it's so hard to get students placed, because, you know, certain clinics are still closed and not accepting students. Other clinics, they slowly getting to work up, but they still haven't even reached out to like other licensed PTAs yet. So, man, we almost wasn't even able to do our summer clinicals. We was probably gonna have to do them next year, or like just waive them off, because that's how our program is set up. Like, we have so many clinical hours that we exceed. By the time we graduate, we exceed the required hours that CAPTI, which is like our program's like institutional organization, to make sure that our program is credited. The way our program is set up, we have so many clinical hours, because we do 3 clinicals within 2 years, that by the time we graduate after our 2 years, we have like exceed above like the normal requirement to be in a clinic. So yeah, it was just very chaotic. If I had to describe this semester in one word, it'd be chaotic. Like, that's why, like, you know what? And this video is chaotic too, because I just realized I was all over the place. But that's how this semester was. So you can see how this semester was just by watching this video. So yeah. Other than that, that's all I have to say about this semester. Whew. I'm so glad I'm done. I'm so glad it's over with, and I'm so glad I can sit here and officially say that I am a second year. I am entering my last year as a PTA student, so May of 2021, I would be graduating. Wow, that's crazy. Only 2 semesters left. But anyways, that's it for this video. If you stuck around this long, thank you very much. Again, sorry for the chaos. That's just how the semester was, so the video had to match the ambiance, right? But anyways, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do plan on coming out with more videos as time allows. As you can see, it takes a minute, but I give you quality content, right? Hopefully, maybe. But my next video, I should hopefully be back to talk about my experience in my first round of clinicals, so be on the lookout for that soon. Also, make sure to like this video and share it, so then that way others who are maybe interested in this program can you know, watch my experience, maybe get some tips out of it, some tips and tricks maybe, and make sure, yeah, to subscribe to my channel. And with that, I will see you all soon.